So today we're going to be covering a little bit about some AI. Well, welcome back to another Tech to Elevate webinar. Now that we're all set up and ready to go, I'll be your host today, Ben Gallegos. I serve up in Erie County along with Brandon Justice. We'll be in the Erie Blasco Library on Wednesdays and Thursdays from from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then we're in Ambridge and Aliquippa down in Beaver County from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday and Wednesday at the Ambridge Laughlin Memorial Library, and 12 to 4 Wednesdays at the B.F. Jones Memorial Library. If you have any questions throughout this webinar, please feel free to comment those in the chat. I'll be sure to check through those and answer any questions you guys have. But hopefully this will be an in-depth presentation into AI and the different ways that it can help you in your different facets of life. So first, we're going to go into kind of just what is AI broadly, and then we'll really go into the more specific examples. So AI can predominantly be seen in 4 different ways these days. You can see it as machine learning or deep learning, and those two kind of go hand in hand. Deep learning is just a more advanced version of machine learning, but machine learning, or ML, is AI that takes input and it creates predictions or decisions. It tries to guess what comes next, right? And that's kind of that first step towards artificial intelligence, right? It's not just a calculator taking data and giving you the known answer. It's trying to predict what could come next. Deep learning creates a form of neural net, so it's more of just an advanced form of machine learning. The neural net is just a lot of different things that it can compute at the same time, a lot more than a machine learning program. And so the neural net is supposed to kind of mimic your own brain, create more of an in-depth artificial intelligence program. But for the most part, it's very similar to machine learning, right? It's taking in what it knows, taking in what it's been programmed to know, what it's found out on the internet, what it's learned over time, taking that all together to create more complex functions. Then we have natural language programs and computer vision programs. These are things that are both designed to kind of help machine learning and deep learning communicate more easily with humans and do things that make more sense to the human eye. So a natural language program is going to create something that's more the way that a human would speak. So for any form of text, right, or if it's Siri or some sort of voice assistant like Alexa, that's all going to be run through a natural language program so that when they talk, the words that they use is the normal way that a human would communicate with someone else. And this can also help with translation as well to ensure that you're getting the most accurate translations, and we'll actually go into that later. The last one is computer vision. I'm sure you can kind of guess based on natural language program. The computer vision is taking images and understanding those images, as well as putting images back out there into the world. So this is where you've gotten your AI videos and photos can come from computer vision, but this is also where the computer has to learn what it's seeing. So for automated driving, a lot of the AI is going to be involved with computer vision because it has to intake that data and interpret it from there. So there are a couple different places that you may have seen AI. Google has a lot of built-in AI that they're continuously innovating on and adding to different areas. So right now, some of the base ways that you may have seen Google AI is in an email or in a Google Doc or in a Google spreadsheet. It tries to predict what you're going to say next. So if we'll go into some examples, but if you ask, what's the weather, what time of day is it, it'll say what time of day, and fill in the rest of that statement based on its predictive model of what it's seen other people say, what it's been input from the programmers, and what it's seen maybe you type in your document. Google Translate specifically uses the natural language processor to give really accurate translations, and this can be really beneficial as a lot of languages have different sentence structures, different grammars, things like that. And so it gives you the language that you are most familiar with. And one of the newest things that Google has done is their new AI search results. This isn't fully rolled out everywhere, and it's still kind of in its beta testing area. But if you go into any Google and you search for something new, you get a little AI section where instead of having to go through and click through the different links and read the information for yourself, Google's AI has gone in, it's opened all of those websites, it's scrolled through and found the information that it thinks is most relevant to what you're asking. And it puts that all together at the start in a little text box to make it easy for you. One of the things to keep in mind, though, of course, with AI and specifically Google's new AI search result, is that AI is far from perfect and oftentimes can get misinformation, right? AI can find the information for you, and sometimes it'll do some of its own work to ensure that that information is accurate, but certainly people have been complaining about Google's new AI, right? It's not fully done yet. But some of those search results can be a little less than trustworthy. So just make sure that you're doing your own research on top of anything with AI. Now we have voice assistants and things like that. You're probably familiar with some of these if you have a smartphone or any sort of smart home device. So these are Siri's, Alexa, Hey Google. I think Microsoft has Cortana, I believe. Different organizations have a whole bunch of voice assistants. And so, right, Siri is one of the more basic ones. So usually what Siri can do, the rest of them could do. If that's asking for directions to load maps, if you want to know when a store closes, what the weather is going to look like, or if you want to have it do things for you, play music, set an alarm, things like that. With Google, it's a little bit better able to actually answer questions. You can say, hey, Google, when did Julius Caesar rule the Roman Empire? And it'll give you the years for that. Whereas Siri is more likely to just refer you to the source that it finds, but it's still going through the internet and finding something about Julius Caesar and when he ruled the Roman Empire. Alexa, similar to Hey Google, I think is a little bit more advanced than Siri, but also has those built-in integrated features with the Amazon community. So a lot of different Amazon products are now integrated with Alexa features where you can use Alexa to work your Amazon account if you want to order groceries or anything like that through Amazon. I believe that can be handled through Alexa. And so that's just some of the ways that you can see it through voice assistants. But even if there's not a voice assistant, a lot of these different websites now are implementing AI chatbots, right? Things that you can text and talk to the same way you would Siri, just over text. Now we're really going to dive into how AI can help you beyond just where you've seen it, how you can use AI to make your life better educationally. If it's for work, personal development, anything like that, there's a lot of different ways that AI can be a tremendous benefit. So there are dedicated AI programs that are specifically just supposed to give you an outlet to talk to an AI program, kind of talking to an artificial life form that's really intelligent and just having a conversation with them, getting good answers back. That can be the basic of Chat GPT. If you have Chat GPT Pro and some of the more advanced AI programs, you can get a lot more features. They can create photos for you, etc. But there's also specific workplace programs, right? Like Grammarly and Canva are in many ways designed to use AI to help you for some sort of specific academic or workplace setting. Grammarly helping with spelling, helping with theme and tone of the message. Canva specifically helping to make, Canva talks about making the workplace easier. And so that's a lot of the different ways that these organizations exist outside of AI, and their AI specifically works to help those features. So got a lot of text. We're going to quickly go through how it can help for work and school, and then we'll actually go into some actual demonstrations just briefly so that you can actually see. But first we have Chat GPT, and Chat GPT is probably the one that you guys have heard the most about. Chat GPT is becoming a huge thing now, and it's actually free if you set up an account for the free version. There is a pro version that gives a lot of extra features that are tremendous benefits, but even the free version does a lot for you. Again, we'll do some examples of this, but you can put in some text and have it analyze the text. You can check for spelling and grammar. You can check, is this a positive message? Is this negative? Am I too harsh, right? Am I saying what I'm trying to say? Is it clear? Is it concise? You can have ChatGPT have a discussion with you about that, and you can even return your text without spelling mistakes, right? Correcting those grammar mistakes or anything like that. You can also have it right for work and things like that. If you want to come up with a mission statement, it can give you ideas for brainstorming that. If you want to come up with a caption for a social media post, right, it can give you that. And sometimes it may give you a couple paragraphs, but with ChatGPT and a lot of AI, it's really important to remember that it is more like talking to a person than a lot of previous computer softwares. If it gives you something that you don't like, you can say, hey, that's cool. Can you make it shorter? Can you make it more concise? Can you make it more focused on whatever element you're trying to focus on? And it'll take that data combined with what you've already told it and give you exactly what you're looking for. Right. And so with some of the pro versions of ChatGPT, it can help you come up with a logo, right? It can help you come up with designs. If you need a social media post on the fly, if you need something designed, right, a photo, anything like that, it can help you with that. We've used it to come up with, coloring book pages and all sorts of different tools. And AI can really be terrific for just brainstorming, getting ideas out there, right? If you want to come up with a presentation, figuring out the structure of that presentation, there's really unlimited ways that you can use ChatGPT. There's also Canva, like we talked about. Canva specifically works to help make design really easy. They also have a lot of features for collaboration, collaborative, real-time documents so that you can share with your workers, with your coworkers. But they use AI in a lot of great ways. If that's to create a post for you and it kind of gives you a basic layout, it can suggest what text can go where, it can help autofill the rest of that text. There's a lot of different ways that you can use Canva AI to really help create a fantastic post. I personally use it when we're working on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. Those platforms have different sizes for their posts. So if I make a post Instagram size in a perfect little square, I can hit the magic resize and that'll take it and it'll adjust it to what it thinks would make a good post for a more landscape Facebook post or LinkedIn post. And it's usually pretty helpful. And if I don't like it, I can go in myself, change things like that. The AI also helps to remove backgrounds for a photo. It can also help upscale an image, right? With Canva Premium, if you give it a blurry image, you can actually have it crispen that image up, which is great. It uses AI to predict what it would look like. Grammarly, like we've talked about, can be used in a lot of the same ways as ChatGPT, although it's very dedicated to grammar, obviously, as it says in the name, to the correct syntax, right? Using the proper nouns and everything. One of the great benefits of Grammarly is that you can tell it if you have an academic focus, if you have a professional focus, you can tell it the specific tone. If you want to be uplifting, if you want to be assertive, right? If you want to be confident, things like that. And one of the ways that I really love Grammarly is it helps reword your sentences for clarity. And that can be great because sometimes when I write, I'm just writing random sentences that don't really make sense. I use Grammarly. It tells me how to rearrange the words in that sentence so that it's less of a run-on sentence, right? And helps a lot with that. And also, of course, with spelling, grammar, all of that, that can be a great help. And then there's Google AI. Google AI is kind of just built into Google features a lot right now, and it can help a lot. Whether or not it's inputting data, it can help autofill the rest of that data. It can look at that data and infer new data. You can get automated responses a little bit. So like if you start the text, it can autofill that. And so we'll actually pull up Google in a little bit as a specific example, because I think a lot of the Google built-in AI features are common to see in a lot of other places. And Google all has, their products are largely free, right? Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Translate, these are all completely free services. So that's a good place to start. Again, with school and ChatGPT, there's some other things that you can look into. ChatGPT can help you structure a paper, right? It can help you outline that. It can help you come up with ideas for a project, for a presentation. It can help you figure out days and times and help you just think about problems in new ways. And again, what's great about ChatGPT is you can talk to it in many ways as if it were another person. So you can ask it questions and get answers back that aren't necessarily, as robotic as you would get from Google, something that can be more helpful. Again, Using Chat GPT for school can be risky. Obviously, you don't want to plagiarize your work by stealing your text from Chat GPT. And sometimes Chat GPT can lie and can tell you misinformation, or maybe not, explicitly lie on purpose, but it has incorrect information that it believes to be true. So you definitely want to check that. But I've used Chat GPT in school, right? If I don't understand a reading, I can put in a paragraph and say, hey, can you help me understand what it's talking about when it says X, Y, and Z? So there's a lot of different ways that it can help for school. And again, it can help for grammar and spelling, right? If you have to send an email to your advisor and you want to make sure that it has the proper tone, everything like that. Grammarly, again, same thing, helping with that spelling, really making sure that you're conveying what you want. This can be great for an essay because Grammarly gives you an overall score for your spelling and grammar for the whole essay, and can help you really quickly go through it. Right? ChatGPT will correct those spelling mistakes for you or may point them out for you. But if you have, a 20-page essay and you want to put it into Grammarly, that's much easier than ChatGPT. It does the classic underline in red, but it also does underline in blue for if it's confusing. It underlines in purple if it thinks there's a different issue. It underlines in yellow, and it gives you a lot of different features. It can change all of the words in your whole document to make sure that they're consistent, right? So if you're not using an apostrophe, it can make sure that you don't use that apostrophe everywhere in the whole thing. So I think Grammarly has a lot of benefits over ChatGPT, specifically for really lengthy and in-depth professional working or high-level academic writing. So now we'll go into some examples. These will all just be pretty quick, but we'll start with Google Sheets. You can see I kind of already have this set up. So what I have written out here so far is, just escape. I have written equals 1 plus B2, which is this cell. And then I have equals 1 plus B2, plus B1 plus B2, right, plus B3. So it's pretty easy that if any of you could guess, the next one I'm going to write is equals plus 1 or equals 1 plus B4. Not only can we guess that, but Google can as well. And if I hit tab, automatically does it for me. It gives me the answer. It gives me everything that I want, right? I can do it down here. I can just hit equals and it already knows what I want. Tab, done, right? So that's some of the predictive AI. Right, and you can see that in text as well. Do you know what the weather, hit tab, is like today, right? I can say what, and then it autofills, what do you know about, right? Let's see what it does. What do you know about the weather today? And so that's how you know that it's reading my document and guessing what comes next, right? This is that machine learning where it says, oh, well, they already asked about the weather. Maybe they want to know what we know about the weather today beyond what the weather is going to be like today, right? So that predictive guess can help in a lot of different ways, especially for like emails. If you're just trying to type a quick email, I've used that a lot. It makes it a little quicker. And it can also really be useful for things like translating. And I think translating is one of the areas where it's most important, right? For Google Docs and Google Sheets, autofilling that information can make your life easier, but not necessarily more accurate. This is a really important one. This is just an example for English to Chinese. If it were to do a simple translation, right, a one-to-one translation based on what it knows, the Chinese side, 我是美国人 would read as I is pretty country person, right? Which obviously does not sound like I am American, but Google Translate knows that 美国 is American or America, and it knows that Ren is person. So if there's America person, it knows to combine that to American, right? It knows that in English, we don't say I is American, we would say I am American. So it changes the grammar. And that's some of that natural language processing that ensures that you're getting the right text. And we can even see that in Chat GPT as well. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier about changing text. So here's just an example. I already ran through it. This is the free version of Chat GPT. I'm not even logged into an account here. So this is something that any of you can do. I just searched chatgpt.com. And I said, how can I rephrase this email to sound more confident and more professional? And you can see in this text here, not a great email. Sorry, hope you have a great day. Sorry, thanks. Doesn't sound great. There's no introduction that's great. It just says, hi there. You can see that ChatGPT made it a lot more professional with good morning or afternoon. I trust this message finds you well. Best regards. It breaks it down into paragraphs. I believe it would be beneficial to align on its progress and any necessary next steps, right? So I can say, make it sound less pretentious, because I believe it would be beneficial to align on its progress and any necessary next steps. Sounds a little high and mighty to me. So here's a more down-to-earth version, right? I didn't say down to earth, but it understands that less pretentious means down to earth. So I hope you're doing well. I was thinking it might be helpful to chat sometime this week about my latest project, right? So it's able to take what you've already given it. It's able to add new information and really just guess what's coming next. And that's one of the great things about Chat GPT, is the versatility of it. Last, we're just going to quickly run through the personal nature of AI. Obviously, you can use ChatGPT, Grammarly, a lot of these things for your own personal research, for your own personal writings, right? Even if you're just talking to a friend and you want to make sure that your grammar is correct or that your language is clear and concise. If you're doing research and you just want to know more about a certain topic, ChatGPT can be great for personal use. Some of the new features with AI is Facebook and their parent company, which is now called Meta. Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, so you may have seen they're launching on, it's not universal, so it'll be on some people's Facebook and some people's Instagrams, but not everyone's yet, I don't believe. The search bar will be replaced and it'll just say Meta AI, and then it'll have the rest of the normal search bar. It's confusing to a couple people. We've had some people come in and ask what the difference is. You can still use it as a normal search bar, but what's great now is you can ask it a whole bunch of more advanced questions than a normal search, right? If you're on Instagram and you search, what's the weather today? It's just going to show you posts that people may have, put a hashtag weather today or something like that. It's not actually going to give you any information. Through Meta AI, it's a full AI chatbot that you can talk to and get real answers from. And from what I've been hearing from clients and from my own usage, Meta AI seems pretty able to give you a lot of fairly sound advice. Again, that doesn't mean that you can replace like medical advice or any professional advice with Meta AI. But if you're asking, what should I do today? It's a little cloudy, but I want to go outside and have fun. Maybe Meta AI can suggest, go looking for bugs or something, right? There's a lot of different things that you can use this for, asking for places for food. And so there's many ways that the built-in AI can be used. So anyway, I hope this presentation on AI was helpful. Glad that you could come through us with this. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. You can email us, you can call us, right? You can check out our website, tech2elevate.org with the number 2. Again, like I said, we're up in Erie and Beaver County. And if you want to rewatch any of these videos or our other webinars, go to our YouTube channel, which can be found on our website. We have all of these uploaded there. And if you have any questions, whether if you need tech help, digital skills training, if you want to boost your proficiency on working with Google Docs, right? Create a more professional environment. If you want to use ChatGPT and Canva to create logos and design websites, if you want to use AI to your advantage for professional or just for personal, right? If you're just curious about AI and just want to learn more, definitely reach out to us and have a great day.